I read 6 books in the month of July. This will be my reading wrap up. I'm going to do a yes, no, maybe edition. So, to start it off, the very first book I read in July was Manacled. 1,000 times yes. 1,000 times yes. That is tied for my top favorite book of all time now. It was so good. It was my first full-length fan fiction novel. It was absolutely incredible. 1,000 times yes. I will recommend that to everybody until the day I die. It was so good. My second book that I read was Quicksilver. Also a yes, 1,000 times yes. It was incredible. It is on Kindle Unlimited by Callie, Hart. It was so good. It's a hefty one, around 600 or so pages. It is a fantasy novel, and I fell in love with the dark, brooding, tortured shadow daddy, right? Because, hello, that's my type, I guess. That one is a hard yes. I highly recommend you read it if you have Kindle Unlimited. The third book I read was Done and Dusted. I have waited such a long time for this book. My library loan finally came through. It is not quite a maybe, but not a super enthusiastic yes. It's a yes, but a sure, why not kind of yes. I did enjoy it, and that's kind of the extent of my feelings towards it. The fourth book I read was Tasting Red, and Holly is an attending author for Rocky Mountain Readers Retreat, and I'm currently working my way through the attending authors list, and it was amazing. That one is a yes for me. It is a dark, spicy retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, and when I say spicy, I mean spicy. It was so good, and the plot was surprisingly really interesting. I'm really excited to read more of her stuff. The fifth book that I read was Bridesmaid for Hire by Meghan Quinn. This is a maybe. I liked the plot. I did not love calling a certain appendage a beefy stick of salami. That kind of gave me the ick. So, and also I had major secondhand embarrassment for the male main character the entire time, which was really hard for me to deal with. So that one for me is a maybe. The final book that I read in July was The Wren in the Holly Library, also a maybe. The only issue with me for this book was it is heavily centered around Celtic mythology, which I love, which is great. However, it reminded me so much of Sarah J. Maas plots and books. For example, there were so many names from SJM books that it was honestly a little bit distracting for me. And I understand that they're Irish names for Irish characters, but there are other names out there. I just feel like all the SJM names were, all together, and it kind of threw me off. It was a little bit distracting. It was good, but it's a maybe. So that's my reading wrap up for July. A lot of yeses, a few maybes. There weren't any no's this month, which is really good. Actually, I did DNF How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. I would probably consider that a no. I didn't make it super far in the book, so that one would be a no for me, just because one particular part really gave me the ick. But I've had a lot of people say that the rest of the book is not like that, so I should probably try and revisit it at some point. As of right now, that one for me is a no. I may or may not circle back to it some other time. That is my wrap up for July. Let me know if you read any of the same books.